going on, y'all? We're back in the shop Saturday, January 21st. And we've been busy on the car. We knocked out the project the other night on the modified for a friend. It was just a bar to protect his driver's side header. So we just done that quick. I didn't film any of that. And we just wanted to knock it out. He waited on the car, so we got it knocked out so he could take the car back with him. And we got our car rolled back out last night. And Pops and I got busy on fixing a boo-boo. So I'll turn the camera around and show y'all what we had to do and what we got going on today. We got it fixed, and I'll explain that. People are gonna call us crazy, but I'll explain it and tell y'all what we had to do and get the geometry and stuff right. So y'all hang out with us. We got a lot of content coming today. We got a new face in the shop. When I turn the camera around, I'll show you. Appreciate y'all watching. Y'all hang out with us. All right, so this is what we ran into after we got to measuring our front geometry. We noticed our drag link was way close to the cross member on the driver's side. Now I know y'all can see this right here already, where this is ground off, this is ground off. And what we got to noticing was we had the frame horn a 1/2 inch too short. So we have a piece of 1/2 inch solid plate right here. Last night we came in, we cut the frame horn off, we cut all this off at the weld so we could put this all back easy. And we slid this frame horn forward a 1/2 inch on top of that 1/2 inch steel plate. Now, I'm sure some of y'all are looking at this frame horn and saying, man, that looks awful funny. That's because these frame horns are off of a metric car, 78 to 88 metric car. That's what we had laying around, and that's what we used. And yes, we did take all the measurements to get the geometry right. Steering box mounts are the same from a Chevelle to metric, most GM cars. The measurement from this hole to the cross member in here and the measurement from this hole to the cross member is a little different on a Chevelle to a metric. So these are to the Chevelle spec. We measured off of another Chevelle and got this frame horn identical. That's how we knew we were a 1/2 inch off. So now that we got that fixed, our drag link is now parallel to the cross member. And yes, the angle of our pitman arm is the same as a Chevelle. The difference in a metric idler arm, if you'll notice right here, a Chevelle idler arm almost runs up and down parallel with the ground. A metric lays in real far. So we came in here. This is when we replaced the frame horns. I'm just explaining using a metric frame horn. We slit this and laid that idler arm in to the same degree as what a Chevelle is supposed to be. So now that all that's fixed, I'll get into more of what we got going on today. All right, so Pops is over here, and my nephew, Griffin, that's my oldest nephew. What's up, guys? He came out to help us today. They got the control arm up here. That looks like right front. And they're just buzzing these bushings right here, like we talked about in the other video, just to get a little more clearance. When you tighten down, it frees the control arm up a little bit. We're going to throw in these ball joints today. We're going to get these bolted back on the car, let them be hanging on the car, and we'll be waiting on other parts then. We're also going to work on getting those master cylinders leveled and shimmed the way they're supposed to be, because they're kind of at different angles right now, because we had to replace part of the bracket that holds that pedal assembly. So we got a little bit going on today. I hope I explained that enough to where it's understanding. Everything on this front end is to Chevelle spec now, even though it is metric frame horns. So if you want to use metric frame horns on a Chevelle, it is possible. You just got to do a little bit of cutting, a little bit of degree finding, and this is now squared up. When you square from here across, all that squared up. So we're good. Y'all don't worry, the geometry is right. We're gonna get busy. Y'all hang out with us. Got a little bit of work to do today. All right, y'all. As y'all can see, Griffin got the bushings ground down and got them cleaned up. We got the ball joints put in. We do use a ball joint tool. In case y'all saw us beating on the control arms, we do have a ball joint kit. What we do is use this spacer under the control arm, this spacer here on top of the ball joint, and a good 3-pound hammer. I think it's a 3-pound, maybe more than that, maybe a 12. But anyway, we do it on an anvil because we hate messing with C-clamps. So we do it on an anvil. It's just a lot easier. Well, the control arms are ready to go on. We did forget that we don't have bolts. So we got to get bolts for those. But right now we are going to work on getting this master cylinder set up right here, leveled up, shimmed up. We're going to see how many washers it takes, how thick they need to be, and then we'll cut some tubing to make those spacers out of. That way there's not a bunch of washers on there. And we'll get it spaced right. We got the old seat from down at the barn. We're going to stick over in here, do our seatbelt tabs, and we may leave that seat over in there so when we get our steering parts, we can work on steering after we get that seat over in there a little bit. So y'all hang out with us. We got a little more work to do. All right, folks. It's been a little bit since we were in here earlier. Griffin had to go. He's got a newborn. She's 4 months old, and she's been sick, so he had to run home and see if he can't get her taken care of, and him and Cammie, his girlfriend. And so it's me and Pops. We actually had to run down 30 minutes from here, 45 minutes from here, and quote another job that will be coming in here Tuesday. It is a mini stock race car. We're going to be doing jack bolts, all 4 corners on that car, and a super clean mini stock car, I should add. Very, very nice piece. The kid that drives it, I say kid because he is, I think, 12 years old. I think 12 or 13. He won a track championship last year in junior mini stock. I may have won track championship in that class at a couple of tracks. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check on that. But anyway, me and Pops are back in here this afternoon, and we went ahead and got our spacers made for the brake and clutch master cylinder assembly. We've got that all bolted down. It's all tight and snug, and we just went ahead and bolted that in so we get an idea where sheet metal's got to be, and we can always take it out when we go to do the sheet metal. So we've got these pretty close to level. They're not exactly level because we know the car will have rake in it when it's sitting at ride heights. So these master cylinders will be close to level when the car is sitting where it needs to be once all the suspension's on it. We're at a standstill, really. We got to get bolts for the control arms. We may run to town in a little while and get those. And we'll throw some paint where those bushings are welded in and kind of clean those up a little bit. And mainly just waiting on parts now. We got to wait on some steering knuckles to come in, steering box knuckle, and I've got to get a coupler for my steering wheel. I use a Sweet steering wheel. This is a 17-inch flat, and I've got to get a coupler so we can get everything figured out on the steering column. So I'll have to get that ordered, and once all the rest of the steering parts come in, we can finish up the steering shaft, and we can keep on moving along with our suspension. We get our rear end hung under it. We do have a pull bar. I don't think we have lower control arms. Nope. We got rid of all those, didn't we? Yeah, we had aluminum. That's right. They were aluminum. And we got to have steel per the rules. We want everything to be legal. So per the rules, we got to have steel lower control arms, steel pull bar. In our class, I know a lot of guys that watch our videos are from out west and up north. Our rules are pretty much a carbon copy of IMCA Northern Sport Mod, except for a few changes. I'd have to look side by side again to see the changes, but I know one of them for a fact is from the mid plate to the center of the rear axle. I think on the IMCA car is 72-inch minimum, where we can be 70 inches minimum from the center to the mid plate. We do have to run a solid pull bar. We have to run a spring on top, both sides, just like a Northern Sport Mod. So they're very similar. I think a lot of those cars could come down here and run. I think we could actually come up there and run. We have 2 engine options, 602 crate with a full barrel, or you can run a open engine up to 362 cubic inch max with a 4412. So pretty much a carbon copy. But that's where we're at right now. It's been a pretty good Saturday in the shop. We spent a couple hours running down there and looking at that other car, just kind of hanging out. They're friends of ours, and we just kind of hung out for a little while and checked out what they had. And those projects will be coming up Tuesday. He's going to bring that car to us. So that'll be definitely some content coming on it. Mike Ken, y'all have heard me talk about Mike. I mentioned Mike and the run he had at the Ice Bowl at Talladega. He is bringing his open wheel up here Monday because he got into a little bit of a fender bender at the Ice Bowl, and it bent the full bar bracket a little bit on bottom. It's not affecting where we have the car set up at, but we are going to bend it back out straight just because if he ever does have to move a bar down to that part of it. And we'll fix his door bar. And they're headed to Boyd Speedway next weekend. And it's the Tri-State Modified Series, open wheel Modified Series. I think it's $2,000 to win, if I'm not mistaken. So y'all hang out with us. I think me and Pops may call today till we get some more parts. We get some bolts and stuff. We may come back in here tomorrow and bolt some control arms on and maybe work on the seat tabs and stuff tomorrow. That way it'll give us something to video tomorrow to go toward the next video. But I think that's going to be a wrap. We appreciate y'all watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Can't thank y'all enough for watching the videos. Y'all be sure to subscribe. And don't forget that we are doing the decking sponsors on the top of the deck over there. And it's 50 spots at $20 a spot. A few spots have been spoken for. If you want a certain number, just be sure to tell me in an email, or if you Cash App or Venmo, I'll link all that in the description of this video. And if you do want a specific number, just make sure to note that, and I'll get it on there. And we're making note of that, and we'll have an updated list of that tonight. So we appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you next time. God bless.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll see y'all later.